Hello, friends. I'm back on my channel, History with Umehani. But today I'm not going to cover a topic of any syllabus or any thing which is written in the college or school's books. But today I'm going to talk about a history of Imam Hussein. The history, I'm not talking his life history, but it is basically on the Karbala event. And as you all know, recently Muharram went on. And in Muharram, the Shia, they mourn for 10 days, some mourn for 40 days. So basically, this video, I have made it for the kids who does not understand that why actually it all this thing happened, because there are so many questions there in their minds, that why Imam Hussein alayhi salam, he, you know, uh, went to Karbala, why all this thing happened. He could have easily surrendered or he could have given up, and why it was important for the Yazid to get the elegance from Imam Hussein alayhi salam. So these are the few questions I want to clear in the mind of the kids, because whatever the sources they have is from either from their parents or from the majlis which they attend. Very few make efforts to go and read, but that at a later stage. But what about the school kiddos? They don't know. So just a small brief information I'm trying to give it to you all. Now, the very first thing we will go out here is the reason of why this everything happened. Why Yazid wanted the elegance of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Now, during those time, the elegance of big people like the big leader of the tribe or any important man of the society, if he gives the elegance to a particular king, so his followers is definitely going to accept that king. So when we talk about Imam Hussein alayhi salam, he was the grandson of Prophet Muhammad. Okay. At the same time, in my previous video of Islamic history, if you all have not gone through it, please go through it. That will give a better idea to you all that what I'm talking about. In that, I had mentioned that, yeah, the Umayyad dynasty came up after the four caliphs. Okay. And this Yazid was from that Umayyad dynasty. All right. And it was very much important for him to get the elegance of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, so that he can get all the Shia supporters of Imam Hussein on his side. So that was the major reason why he wanted elegance. Now, there must be a question, what is elegance? Elegance means to accept the supremacy of that particular king, and Yazid wanted that Imam Hussein should accept his supremacy, so that he can, if he accepts it, the entire Shia community would accept the supremacy of Yazid. Okay. So that was something was not acceptable by Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Why it was not acceptable? Because Yazid was not a good ruler. He was corrupt, he was alcoholic, he was brutal, he was not benevolent to his subject. His administration was very corrupt, very corrupt. It was not that the people's voice was considered, but whoever tried to say the truth, or who you can say went against of Yazid, they were either killed or they were forced to accept his elegance. So that was the reason Imam Hussein cannot accept such man as the ruler of everyone, as a caliph, as that was the most important position at that time. Now, why this event? See, the war in the history have taken, lots of war have been taken, and it had been many brutal wars. But why this is important in the history of Islam or in the history of humanism? Because all the laws of Islam was broken. Yes, all the laws of war which was signed by Prophet Muhammad, so that it will be a you can say a regulatory form of war, but all those laws were violated. There are few I will like to mention in this. See, in those time there were two kinds of tactics of war. That one was one on one, that means one person from this side and another person from another side. Okay. Another one is like the whole force is coming from here, and so both the sides forces are colliding together. But this war was on one tactic. Right. Now, as per this one on one tactic, if a one person comes from here, other person comes from here, and they only fight. All right. But in this war, what was happening? Whoever was going from Imam Hussein alayhi salam's side, but from the opposite side, it was not only one person. Initially, they used to send one person to fight, but what was happening? The Imam Hussein warriors were very strong, so they could easily kill them. So it was very difficult for them to tackle. So they used to surround them and kill them. So that is why this is the first violation of one-on-one technique, you can say. Secondly, after the war, the women's and the children's of the losing side should not be troubled or harassed. But here we all know that the entire family of Imam Hussein alayhi salam was captive. They were tortured, and it is, if you all read the stories or if you all know about everything, you will literally cry. That kind of torture they were given. Then the dead bodies of the losing side should always be, either should be hand over to their families, or they should be buried with all religious practice. But in this scenario, the bodies of the losing side was also tortured. We all know that how the Imam Hussein Maula's Ras Mubarak was taken, and how his body was, the horses run on the dead bodies of Imam Hussein, and it was so bad that all the bones were broken. So they tortured even the dead body, which you will not find so much in any war. Then they were attacking Imam Hussein army while they were praying namaz, which was also against the law of war. You must never attack anybody when somebody is praying. So these are the few points I have mentioned. There was so many things, so which you can say that this was the reason why this war became so much important, and it was considered brutal, I can say, because it was only one family who was so much tortured, and everything was ruined. Imam Hussein alayhi salam, he lost his sons, daughters. Their daughters were tortured, the wives were tortured. He lost his brother, he lost his nephews, all relatives. I mean, it was a big a brutal act from Yazid's sides on one particular family, and that family was not an ordinary family, it was the family of Prophet Muhammad. So, this is the reason why this Muharram or the act of Karbala is so much important. It it is was a totally unethical war from the side of religion, from the side of social, sorry, and from the side of humanitarian. So that is the reason why we mourn for 10 days or 40 days. And this event has not only the Shias who practice it, it's all over the world, even the Brahmini Hindus and Sunnis, they all practice. But there are many big people who are even inspired by Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and I would like to mention two names here. That was Nelson Mandela and Mahatma Gandhi. why they were inspired, because they knew that a person who is right and who even if he stands against a government, he can overthrow that government and he can get the supports of the entire world. That's exactly happened in the case of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. He was against the government or the ruler Yazid, who was wrong. So they were. This is the reason why Nelson Mandela and Mahatma Gandhi too got inspired and they stood against their own country. That you all know the history of that, and if not maybe in future we will discuss about all this. I hope that many queries must have been cleared of you people, especially the kiddos. So take care for now. See you till my next video comes.